copy of the action figure known as Turbo Man. I am not going to ask you people to be quiet again. Do you hear me? Now, here's how things are going to work. You will form an orderly line so that an employee can hand you a numbered ball. These balls will then be drawn in a standard lottery fashion to see who gets a dollar. If you're not one of the lucky few, we have plenty of Turbo Man's faithful pet tiger booster in stock.
We don't want it! We don't want it!
And by the way, in accordance with the laws of supply and demand, the new list price on each figure just doubled.
What? That's against the law, buddy! Give me a ball!
It's the most wonderful time of the year. Everyone telling you feel. It's the most wonderful time.
What is going on, everybody? This is Rob Wilson, and I am a comic book artist that is working on my current work, amongst other things. I'd like to welcome you here to Strictly Art Live. We are streaming live this Black Friday of 2024 on November the 29th, live from YouTube, Rumble, Kick, Twitch, and IG, bringing to you my artwork, my commentary, my storytelling ideas, to which some of them I have no intent to follow up on because they're not my IPs. However, I am bringing all of that to you, the people. So I want to welcome you to this another morning edition, which works out great for me. Hopefully, it works out great for you as well. If you can catch me, it's awesome. If not, catch me in the replays, all that good stuff. But yeah, you see, I got some decorations going on for the holiday season. I'm in the Christmas spirit. Did I say that? Am I allowed to say that? Well, it is what it is. So be it. So yes, we have a couple things going on. I had to fix my link tree. My link tree was having issues, and I got the issues updated, and they got some new features. In fact, I'm able to actually highlight some of my stuff that is on sale in the link tree, link that you can follow below, or actually pinned on both Rumble, YouTube, Twitch, and Kick. The link is there where you can follow my work, latest updates, all that jazz, all that great stuff. And yeah, I'll spend some time probably next week working on covering some of it and all that. But for today, I definitely had to throw in Jingle All the Way on Black Friday, even though I know it took place at a different time. It was like the day before Christmas. It was like Christmas Eve. So that's where Jingle All the Way took place. But I figured that whole, hey, as soon as the store's open, it's on, no mercy. Yeah, I had to definitely dive into that. And I have fun. Hopefully you did as well. So, yep, I'm still putting in the work to this piece because I've secretly taken some time away from it to work on my comic book, which you can watch live, see it being put together in the works on Sketchwave. That is exclusively on Twitch. You can catch that whenever you can. There are no replays, and it is what it is. But that is what I got going on when I have time. Lots of stuff going on. I sometimes wonder how I managed to keep it together. But I'm thankful. After every 3 or 4 days, I get a chance to do some artwork. Hopefully you guys enjoy it, and so on and so forth. So today's crossover subject hit me because I've been following this gentleman on, let's see. I've been following this gentleman for a couple of years now, CLMC Music. He does like different crossovers of, classic music. I think he's got one of I think it's Batman and Back to the Future. It's absolutely awesome. So I got his permission to use one of them for the, Beverly Hills Cop meets... Beverly Hills Cop meets Ghostbusters, I believe. And that was really awesome. So I was like, let me go ahead and try to do this again and make it the perfect theme for a Halloween movie. Ghostbusters meets the Gremlins. And I think that would make for an awesome crossover story. Probably a lot better than the one that just came out, the Ice Kingdom, that came out early this year. There's nothing to fear but fear itself, Not necessarily the Ghostbusters best work. I didn't watch it. I wasn't ready to. I preferred to listen to the opinions of critics that have gone to see it before I would go see it, and it didn't seem too well. I like Afterlife, but Afterlife was it was predominantly good because it was a closed It was closure of Hal Ramis. We got to see a little bit of Egon, and he came back as a ghost. That was really cool. That was predominantly what made that movie very significant, very important, and nostalgic. Um, Gozer coming back and all that usual stuff. Evo Shandor being played by Commissioner Gordon from the DCEU days. That was pretty funny, but it was short lived, so it's just like eh. Um, but I figured with this, you got some very simplistic ideas um, with the Gremlins. We know the Mogwai, that's the thing. Um, Stan's occult books in the Ghostbuster lore, as we know. That's right. We're going right into it. We're going right into it because I think I probably have enough stuff to cover on here between this crossover to probably cover the whole show. So that's what I'm gonna try to do. Um, Stan's occult books. If you want to take the approach of, let's say this was about around the Ghostbusters 2 era, because that's where I use the thumbnail. Which I don't know why people now just kind of hate that movie because it teaches a valuable lesson of maybe like learning to treat people, well, even in New York. And if you can learn to treat people well in New York and come together around the Statue of Liberty, then you can do that anywhere. But for some reason, like it's just like I don't know whether it's a small group or a big group all of a sudden doesn't like Ghostbusters 2 due to patches and talk about He-Man. I don't know. I don't get it. I like the movie. I thought it was a pretty good Christmas to New Year's Eve movie. It will forever stay in my heart. So if we put this, let's say this was after Ghostbusters 3. Okay. The Ghostbusters have proven themselves again. There's actually a cartoon for the real Ghostbusters that I'll mention as well that'll tie this in. But let's say this is Ghostbusters 3. These guys, it could be like 1997, 98. Because Ghostbusters 2, when was that? Let's look this up right quick. Do a little bit of history. We got the internet. That's what the internet is for. Research and history. That's how we learn and get our facts straight, even for fiction. Let's see, Ghostbusters 2, because the first one was in the 80s. Ghostbusters 2 was 1989. So you still had another decade to sneak in about 2 more movies, which they could have done. I heard speculation that the 10th level of hell was supposed to be the 3rd Ghostbusters movie because they actually mentioned that. And the mayor mentions that. And right quick, shout out to Kick. I'm accumulating followers. I thank you. I try to do it the honest way. And I'm up to 40 followers now on Rumble. So we're climbing the ranks. You know how things go with YouTube, but I mean, hey, I thank you for watching me there as well. So continuing, we could have the 3rd Ghostbusters movie taking place back in the 1990s, where Ray's occult books somehow maybe they have a certain item or get it in the mail. Where Ray gets it at the bookshop. It happens to be an encasing. He doesn't know what's in it. Like some kind of cask. A cask of Amontillado for the English students out there. I had to read that myself. So something kind of like that, that holds wine or a mysterious object. You could put some incantations on there. Maybe even like... the red or the black wax that is used by some witches to keep evil spirits within that containment. So you have maybe the Mogwai in there. In that case, he wouldn't be really an evil spirit. And then the Mogwai makes noises. Ray opens it up and says, "Hey, little fella, what's this?" And then by then, Egon comes in. "Hey, Ray, I got this so and so. Check this out." And then, boom, right in the Ray's occult books store, because they don't really spend much time in that store as much as I wish they did. But Egon shows up. Ray's showing him the Mogwai. Somehow gets mixed in the mail, you know. And then from there, the Egon brings out his tools. They look at each other, I wonder what the heck this could be. And then they start testing it, kind of like how they tested Rick Moranis in the first one when he was possessed by the Keymaster, by the Gozer dogs. So I think that would be a good first, kind of second scene after you have your opening credits. Or even we could take an alternate route where the old elder that took the Mogwai back, maybe he is injured or hurt, and he's carrying the Mogwai and trying to keep it away from maybe triads or something. I'm not sure. Does New York have a Chinatown? I'm rather curious about that. That could be another thing too, because he was trying to sell stuff based off of the first Gremlins, and his little nephew, I guess, was more eager than him to sell stuff. Obviously, he knew the consequences of having a Mogwai. Um, so you got multiple angles there. Mogwai is stuck in the mail. Mishap shows up at Ray's Occult Books, or the ancient elder that is the keeper of the Mogwai. He is on the run, and he somehow leaves it with Ray Stans or something like that. Could be interesting. So from there, obviously, the usual tropes of the Mogwai being taken care of. Maybe Ray doesn't know the rules of how to take care of it, like the previous owners did, or were forewarned. Um, and then that being the case, that turns into an easy, quick mess. Very easy, quick mess. Because obviously, the Ghostbusters are not the best representatives of health and wellness. So a lot of junk food, and their work hours are crazy. Whenever they get a call, so will we have an interaction between Slimer and the Mogwai? Who knows? How does spectral slime interact with Mogwai? It's not exactly water, but it is some type of fluid, ectoplasm to be exact. So that could give birth to a different type of Mogwai, or what was his name? Gizmo, I think that was his name in the first one. Um, yeah. So that could give birth to a type of, or not give birth, but that could create a new type of Mogwai, as opposed to just physical beings. That could actually create a spectral Mogwai. And then when water gets a hold of them, then they turn into maybe some type of ectoplasm gremlins. Slimy, messy, still mischievous, in different ways. And who knows, since they're on the kind of like the other side of the veil, the trigger may not be water. It could be something else, more, I guess, maybe something else more conductive to Slimer. So, in that case, if we went with the ectoplasm gremlins, that would make Slimer a lot more important of a character in that version of Ghostbusters vs Gremlins. I think we got something to work with there. But obviously, if you have quick interaction between Slimer and Mogwai, or maybe don't have Slimer at all, but he's seeing the Ghostbusters go through their daily routine. um, Egon could go ahead and do some research. Besides Tobin's Spirit Guide, I'm sure there are other occult books that may have the legend of the Mogwai, maybe even some ancient books as well. So, I mean, basically, you have the Mogwai interact with just about anyone. Even Janine Melness, he might be on the desk while she's taking calls, and she's like telling him to get back and stuff, and have a cool little scene or whatnot. Because he is a cute character, no doubt about it. And if this is taking place during the holiday season, again, that would be an excellent mixture. So let's go back a little bit to why I mentioned the ectoplasm mogwai or ectoplasm gremlins. If you remember in Gremlins 2, they became very diverse based on the different items of chemistry and elements that they interacted with. So you had like a fruit gremlin, you had a female gremlin, you had a smart gremlin, you had an electric gremlin, you had a bat gremlin. Um, I don't know if he was, yeah, I guess he was just a bat. Yeah, bat gremlin, and then he turned the stone into a gargoyle, which was, that was classic right there. But yeah, so the gremlins have the ability, as we've seen from previous movies, to kind of um, adjust to whatever environment that they're in. Do they go spliggity splat? Absolutely. But at the same time, they may change forms. So that's why I mentioned the ectoplasm gremlins as a possible diverse or variable, different variable compared to just physical beings. And if you have the ectoplasm gremlins, guess what else you may have? You may have multiple ectoplasm gremlins that can fuse together and create a giant one, and thus you got your Stay Puff Marshmallow Man type of gremlin stomping on the city, hopefully not stomping on any churches. And from there, oh shoot, I messed up. And from there, you also have an even bigger excuse for the whole city to get slimed. So I think keeping this in New York would be great. Good for business, obviously, for the Ghostbusters. But at the same time, too, you have a lot of different elements and interactive elements. Maybe a couple more cameos. Who would you have? Maybe an Andrew Dice Clay cameo in Ghostbusters versus Gremlins. Or maybe it's a little too hot for TV then. It's 90s. Who knows? What do you think? Would Ghostbusters 3 during the 1990s be a little too goofy to have Jim Carrey make a cameo in it? Because you gotta introduce a new character. Obviously bring back Sigourney Weaver, have her do her thing, and add some new characters to the cast. Heck, even have the kid from Last Action Hero. Throw him in there. So that way you got, what made Ghostbusters Afterlife a pretty cool element. Kind of like a passing of the torch, too. So, like, you got a number of things you could do with these gremlins. Besides, and wreaking havoc throughout the city. Just like havoc was wreaked in the first Ghostbusters when they released the containment unit field. Thanks to Walter Peck. Head of the EPA. So it's a number of ways that we could kind of spin this, and I think, heck, it could be enough to make a two-parter. Really, they could stretch that out to make like a two-parter, where maybe after they blast the ectoplasm giant gremlin. And he starts to melt, maybe he takes someone with him, an important character, and that ends up being a vice, but they find out that there's somewhere else that the gremlins go, and that could be the next journey. I'm spitballing ideas, just kind of throwing them out there. Y'all tell me what you think. Definitely think that there is a lot to add to it. Obviously, if you're gonna have Gremlins, you're gonna have Gizmo's got to do his thing. Because it's kind of like his mess anyway. And like I said, it's pretty easy for him to get in trouble if he's hanging around the Ghostbusters. Um, the containment unit. Oh, what a mess! Um, you name it. I mean, there's a number of ways I could go with it. But also, I wanted to go back to the one mentioning of the cast or case. I brought that up because in the cartoon, The Real Ghostbusters, is an episode where there are these little two gremlins where they come out of a case that gets released. And they start off small. And it's only two of them. They start off small and they create havoc, and then they high five each other, and then slap each other. Well, they butt mash each other or whatever. I don't know what you call what they do, but when they do, they get bigger. And then I guess they kind of like mature and become more dangerous, much bigger, like the Gozer dogs over time with the more chaos they create. So that's the reason why I brought up that cast in particular. I thought it would be a easy translation from the cartoon to the movie, but as we know, there are some rights issues that dealt with the movie to the cartoon, so therefore that's why they call it The Real Ghostbusters and all that stuff. For those, my history buffs that are familiar with that, that's pretty much where I think that went. What else? What other elements could we add to Ghostbusters versus Gremlins? I'm curious. Does anybody have any ideas? I mean, this is Black Friday. Why not have freaking the Gremlins Unleashed on Black Friday? Everybody's out shopping. You're gonna have the freaking Gremlins everywhere, into everything, creating havoc, which was kind of like with how the first movie was. Once they start really multiplying and getting all over the city, so I think that, hey, it's an easy movie. And this is what I try to do: take simplistic ideas, do some crossovers that might work, and if they do, great. Let's make it happen. If they don't work, back to the drawing board, so to speak, which is what I'm doing now. So, should they introduce a smart gremlin during the crossover? If they do, then does that smart gremlin get his hands on Ray's occult books? Does that gremlin turn into a sorcerer? Does that gremlin match wit and intelligence with Egon Spangler? Interesting questions, I think, because then you're looking at a whole new level of intelligence and evolution of the lore of the gremlins. They're more than just creatures of havoc. Now they actually got their hands on basically a supernatural nuke, So again, that's something else that could be explored if they ever did that. And like I said, 90s, you can make a two-parter into that. That's your 4 movies right there. And then by early 2000, if Harold Ramis had survived, stayed alive, then you could have had Ghostbusters into the 10th level of hell. That could have been a great conclusion. I think. Kind of like a Dante's Inferno type of thing. So yeah. That's most of what I think when it comes to that. I'm sure if I spent more time thinking about it, I could come up with more ideas and more combinations of ideas that have probably been done from other movies to make it work. Uh, I mean, Lord forbid we do a freaking Ghostbusters versus Gremlins at the Nakatomi building. I mean, that's that's just too much. I think too much. But nonetheless, I mean, there's probably ways, especially for that being done in the '90s. If that was done in the '90s, that would be a whole lot more. Uh, it would be done well. It would be done well. I'm not saying throw John McClane in there, but New Yorkers, they seem to be the action-packed stars of the '90s, so I wouldn't put it past them. But for the most part, we got a premise, we got an idea, we got a couple intros, introduction starters, reasons why they cross paths. I think all those things are very easy and simple to do. And because Ghostbusters, while it is joking, it does have its points where it takes itself seriously. So depending on how dark they would want to go, because I mean the Gozer Dogs when I was a kid, this thing scared the crap out of me, you know. Um, Vigo, I mean, he wasn't really that scary. It was more of what's the name with the glowing eyes, his minion. But yeah, with the Gremlins, there's a lot more you could do because they can adjust to their environment in different ways. And as I mentioned, they interact with their environment, which may change their their chemistry, their physical laws. You know, because if you can turn a gremlin into lightning, why can't you turn a gremlin into a ghost? You know, a spectral ghost of some kind. And then you got a whole new bag of issues there. But then if they switch to some type of ectoplasm, then they're bound by the rules of capture from the proton packs or the, you know, positron collider that the Ghostbusters are known for using. So obviously, you know, there's different little ways to do it. Because they would increase in so many numbers, I'm sure they would play some pranks on the Ghostbusters in particular, give them a hard time. They'll probably have a moment where, hey, we failed, we screwed up, how can we fix it? You know, so again, it could come down to the giant ectoplasm gremlin that's wrecking the city. He gets, you know, hosed down by the proton packs, or and take someone with him. Maybe even Janine. You know what I mean? Because by then, Janine's a well-established character. She's never really been in any real huge danger. It's normally been like, you know, Sigourney Weaver or Dana Barrett. So if you added Janine and made it significant, then that would pressure Egon, you know, to you know, you'd see some emotion out of him. And then he would make, because that's kind of like his main squeeze, and then he would make it a point to try to figure out how to get her back if there was a way, you know. So it would turn into a very interesting journey that I think could lead into another movie. So yeah, hey, it's a lot you could do with Ghostbusters vs. Gremlins. A lot. Could it be done today? No, there's no way. I don't think it's don't even make it a CGI movie, don't even make it animated, just don't do it. This is just something that would have worked so much better. It would have worked in the 90s, basically. That's it. You know, wishful thinking, you know, one can dream, right? And speaking of that, speaking of one can dream, let's go ahead and take a quick break. Grab refill your coffee if you're at work, or you know, if you're on the road. Take a quick break, and I'll be right back while we have this quick interlude. We're bringing back the Toonami days, so enjoy.
A boy has the right to dream. There are endless possibilities stretched out before him.
You have to trust in your own power.
Whatever happens from now on, you stand firm and face your destiny without fear, but with courage.
What awaits him down the path, he will then have to choose.
No one's gonna give you a map. You've got to walk your own path.
The children leave their homes in search of this quest.
What is thy desire?
As they search, they are always asking questions. What's out there? What's waiting for me?
Why was I made? Who made me? And what did they make me for?
Are you gonna go up into space with your old man or not? Maybe I'll never get over this. I've lived my life following my dreams, and I don't have any regrets.
You're gonna just keep running away?
Just keep running away? I'm not running.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Believe in yourself and create your own destiny. Don't fear failure.
All right, so we're back. Hopefully, you enjoyed that quick little segment. When it comes to creativity, I like to go back to the source and roots where I was the most productive when it comes to doing the art. So yeah, I'm getting back to the Toonami days, even though it is no longer in existence. So I thought about another thing while I took a quick break, and this is why I love brainstorming, because then you take a minute, you take a breather, you put your ideas out there first, obviously. You take a breather, and then other things start to come to you, from the ether, so to speak, as people say. If the Gremlins can turn into a type of specter, poltergeist, spirit of some kind, then they would probably be able to possess humans. And if they can possess humans, that's a whole nother game changer. Obviously, in what was it? Obviously, in the first Ghostbusters, Dana Barrett got possessed by the gatekeeper. And then in Ghostbusters 2, Ray Stantz was possessed, or Janosch was possessed by Vigo to be a minion of his, and then Ray got possessed by Vigo himself, the greatest trash-talking ghost of all time. If you sit there and let him just rattle off, you deserve to die. That's my own personal little joke with that. But having a gremlin, a spectralized gremlin, be able to actually possess human beings would be even crazier. So that could also segue into another concept for a sequel. So Ghostbusters vs. Gremlins, Part 2. You have the giant ectoplasm, gremlin that's combined, a number of gremlins together, and in their process, I even got a better one. In their process of trying to destroy New York, they get blasted by the Ghostbusters. However, since they come from different rules, they find out that they can possess someone, and out of anybody else that they possess, they could possess Janine Melnitz. So secretly, they're dormant in her as they check on her and make sure she's okay. Maybe they even do kind of like a King Kong tribute, where the giant gremlin takes her on top of the Empire State Building, of course, because it is New York. And after they swat it down, they check and make sure she's okay. And then secretly, she's a harbinger of like a legion of gremlins within her, and they start to come out. And that gives the girl, the lady that plays Janine, an opportunity to increase her range of acting for the part 2 of Ghostbusters vs. Gremlins. Boom. See, that's what I'm talking about. We just segued into another version. We've done about 3 to 4 different variations in story when it's come to this this proposed idea of Ghostbusters vs. Gremlins. And in my opinion, I think they would have worked back then. I think so. Because crossovers weren't really a big thing back then until about the 90s. Shout out to Last Action Hero, another movie that everybody hated for some awful reason. But now the concept is very popular. You know, crossovers, bringing back 20-year-old characters, all that kind of stuff. Nostalgia bait, as they call it. But this actually, I think, would have been some straight fire, and then it would have proved that the Ghostbusters would have been a long-standing Hollywood franchise to create bridges to other franchises and movies. Now, obviously, we know the biggest obstacle to having those kind of crossovers are property rights, IP, intellectual properties. Who's got the contracts for them? How long are the contracts for? When do they expire? Can they come out with a deal? Get the lawyers involved? It is a freaking nightmare. We've seen what Fox and Marvel and Sony have gone through. So just imagine that trying to get done back in the 90s. I tell you, it wouldn't have been easy. You would have needed a deal maker. But nonetheless, I think it would have made a pretty good story, great idea. It would have tapped into some new lore back then. With the opportunity, had Harold Ramis still been alive, and they potentially said, "Hey, why don't we try this? You know, we see that this thing is here. It has 2 movies, and then we see that the Ghostbusters is here. It has 2 movies. So why don't we go ahead and blur the lines and shake the pillars of heaven, as Jack Burton would say, and then do it for, Black Friday, or do it for, the holiday season." But it probably wouldn't be done for the holiday season because it was just done in Ghostbusters 2. And in Gremlins, it was done in the first movie around the holiday season. Well, for Christmas, pretty much. So it probably could have been done some other time, keep people interested. Maybe 4th of July, it could have been an epic holiday to kind of unite people. But I think that concept probably would have been so big, because that way that would have allowed 2 movies, Ghostbusters vs. Gremlins parts 1 and 2, would have allowed for each franchise to get their own movie, so to speak. So that way it's not one-sided, it's not all about the Ghostbusters, and it's not all about the Gremlins. So, dang, man, this is a fire idea. I'm not saying crossovers work for every franchise, but this should have been a very easy one to make happen. But it is what it is. I'm thankful that we got 2 good movies out of each of them. 2 good movies, 2 fun movies from Gremlins, and 2 fun movies from Ghostbusters. I know not everyone agrees, and that is fine, but I think there was some potential here that definitely could have worked. So I think that's pretty much the most I had to it. I mean, any other ideas probably could have led to the Gremlins being kind of like a means to an end. Like the Gremlins being summoned by some kind of sorcerer while they try to awaken the Gremlin King or something. It doesn't sound as good, you know. But nonetheless, the stuff that we've covered so far on this Black Friday edition of Strictly Art Live, I think is definitely straight fire. Yeah, yeah. So as we wind down, got about 10 minutes left. I hope everyone's shopping is coming along well. I hope that you don't spoil your children, but you get them stuff that they need. You know, things such as like books. But yeah, you got. There's a lot that could have been done with that crossover. So that's why I like the thumbnail. I think that's one of my favorite thumbnails for sure. And I couldn't have picked like some generic music for it. It had to be that Ghostbusters and Gremlins crossover music that was created by CLMC Music. Be sure to check him out on YouTube. I listen to his stuff occasionally and see if there's see how the notes hit. Because I used to be a musician when I was a kid. You know, I played the violin for like 2 years. So I'm always looking for kind of like more of the notes. Keep my ear to the ground for good notes. And if it has like a captivating moment. So, yep. How about that? I hope this put a bug in somebody's ear. I mean, heck, we just had Ernest and the Dreamstone released. So that was like basically a whole nother movie. Maybe someone could get the rights to, Ghostbusters and Gremlins and do that crossover. I would love to read it, and see what liberties were taken, and hopefully maybe something that I said might have helped spark a fire, I would much rather see it happen than see it happen and cheer it on and enjoy it than be like, that's my idea, you owe me some money, and start internet raging out. I wouldn't want to do that. I would want to see it and be like, that's phenomenal that this actually came into fruition. That's how I would treat it. That's how I would feel about it. So yeah, because I know it's not my IP, so let's just make it happen and worry about who gets credit for it, because I never created it. But that's what I like to do, ladies and gentlemen. I like to share brainstorming ideas, because that's sometimes easier than putting it all into a comic book. Or if it's too similar to something that already exists, I'd rather just share the ideas and the possibilities of a good story. What could potentially be, and that's why I like the kind of like story time type of things. You know what I'm saying? Keeps the mind fresh, keeps the mind sharp as far as creating ideas. And I guess obviously the key goal is to actually put stories out there, which is what I'm working on. As soon as I finish this super uber detail oriented background and start coloring, which I think y'all saw me color a little bit last show, but I'm just adding a little more detail because I want to make sure that I put a lasting impression on this piece, which in particular I add a lot more detail in the background compared to last time, and that's what I wanted. I don't want to be half-assed in a piece. Like, here you go. Because I wanted to represent myself and show the skills that I do have. Because if I'm willing to put forth my best effort for others, rest assured, the next book that I come out with will have my next best effort and breakthrough level of art. Over 9,000! So, as we pretty much wrap up the show, ladies and gents, if you're curious where you can find my work, the crawler that's at the bottom of the screen, Linktree, RWA Arts. That is short for Rob Wilson Arts. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Truth Social, Rumble, Kick, Twitch, IG, Twitter, or X. So I'm on a number of places, and Linktree gets you to all of them. I have a website where you can buy my old comic, print on demand, while I'm working on my new comic as we speak after this show. Well, after this show, and then after I go hang out with my dad, we're going to have a post-Thanksgiving meal at a particular Brazilian steakhouse that I love. So I'm going to treat him, and it'll be fun. Some father-son time. Catch up with him, see what's shaking on his end, and I can share with him what's shaking on mine. But yeah, this is like one of my favorite things I love to do. Put together great ideas, such as this. Because again, anything else, even if I didn't have the skills to do what I can to create, new worlds and new ideas, new creatures and struggles that a character may go through to define that character's story, hero's journey, so on and so forth, I could at least dream. Which I think that's why that Toonami segment holds so close, near and dear to me, because out of anything else, a boy can at least dream. And that dream can carry on if cultivated, or it can die if left behind. So I think those are important things to look at. So I'm pretty proud of this episode, Black Friday episode, where we got to cover Ghostbusters versus Gremlins. I'm sure there's a number of ways I could have been way more detail oriented and even show clips, and broke down the play-by-play of each scene of, between Ghostbusters and Gremlins. But I am an artist first and foremost, so I got to make sure I stay on task right here on Strictly Art Live. And in order to keep it somewhat creative and engaging I'll conversate with people. If anyone's in the chat that, has legitimate questions and stuff like that, I'll engage. I am nowhere near unapproachable. But if you catch me on Sketchwave, on Twitch, least likely to say much, because art is the main focus and the music has to flow with the art for an excellent combination. That session is therapeutic for me, and it helps my creative juices flow and all that. So that's the difference. I am excited for 2025. What I can bring to the table. I'm not really, in line to do commissions. People have a particular taste and the way they want things. I can only do what I can afford to do, and hopefully I hope to do even more in the future. And somebody likes it. But my main focus is to have a book ready to go to the conventions. Have artwork ready to go to conventions. People want to know where it's at. Hey, it's at this website. This is what I got. Print on demand. It's all yours once you purchase it. It mails directly to you. My hands are free regardless of wherever I am in the world. So that's my business model, my game plan, and self-improvement to produce even better artwork and books, and faster too. So that's my next step. That's in addition to all these great ideas I try to share with you guys, the people. And so winding down, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you are safe out there, any and everyone that does get a chance to check this out. And even if you don't, be safe out there. Don't take unnecessary risks. Remember, you got to see your family at the end of the day. Hold them true. You only get, this life. and cherish it. Cherish it with your loved ones and friends that you can trust and stuff, because yeah, it's the holiday season. The world's rotten most of the year, so enjoy this time for it to be full of holiday cheer. So that is it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Rob Wilson, comic book artist, video editor, a little bit of dabble in music, part-time philosopher, quarter musician, storyteller, definitely storyteller. I enjoy it. So y'all take care. Not sure when the next show is, but we got 5 episodes left in 2024, and then I'm gonna take a nice hiatus, maybe a month off, to just work on my book. I will be doing the sketch wave because there's no grand production for it, but yeah, I'll be around. So y'all have a great Friday, be safe, and take care.
Ready for a double whammy?
Let's get started.
Monday through Friday night, Toonami's taking over the TV. Here's the breakdown. Midnight, Gundam Wing, Uncut. Yeah, you heard me. 12:30 Dragon Ball Z, the greatest action cartoon ever made. Unbelievable! Toonami, the Midnight Run. Tonight, midnight to 1 a.m. Thank us later. Only Toonami.
Yes, the rumors are true. We have received a small quantity of the action figure known as Turbo Man. I am not going to ask you people to be quiet again. Do you hear me? Now, here's how things are going to work. You will form an orderly line so that an employee can hand you a numbered ball. These balls will then be drawn in a standard lottery fashion to see who gets a dollar. If you're not one of the lucky few, we have plenty of Turbo Man's faithful pet tiger booster in stock.
We don't want it! We don't want it!
And by the way, in accordance with the laws of supply and demand, the new list price on each figure just doubled.
What? That's against the law, buddy! Give me a ball!
Bye.